When an individual decides to pursue something deeper within him, pursue the path of enlightenment, more often than not, he is ridiculed. His sanity is questioned. How is it that you are able to make a decision to walk a path so few have walked? How is it that you can reject the entire mainstream way of life and move away from the broader streets to follow an unknown path which is hardly even visible? What is giving you the courage to walk that path? But for the man who has made the choice to walk the path, it is natural. He can see that his destiny is to walk the road less traveled. That is where he's going to find his meaning of life. That is where he's going to find himself. Because he has searched on the broad highways of life. He has walked with people. He's lived with them. And if he is intelligent enough, and if his observation is keen enough, he would have seen that he is living amongst the dream walkers. He is living with those who are asleep. He has been a part of a society, of a culture that is deeply lost in its own narrative, in its own delusions, in its own stories. What is missing is the way. What is the search of man if not to find that way that leads straight to the heart of life? What else could be the quest of man if it were not to find this one path that all the mystics have spoken about? They have not spoken about different paths. They have spoken about one path, one way, using different words, depending on where they were, depending on their conditioning, depending on the language they used. It all seems different. But a little bit of understanding reveals something mysterious, something magical. They're all talking about the same thing. They're talking about the same way. The Dhammapada, collection of Buddha's teachings, is literally Dharma Pada. Dharma is the way of life. Pada is path or way. Tao Te Ching is the way of life. Although they both seem to be completely different. Dhammapada is a totally different text talking about something totally different. It comes from Buddha, so it's the sacred text of the Buddhists. Tao Te Ching is totally different. It comes from Lao Tzu, it's Taoist philosophy. So believers in Buddhism don't care much about Taoism. Believers in Taoism don't care much about Buddhism. But they both are looking at the same thing. They both are speaking about the exact same thing. So was Jesus. He said, the kingdom of heaven. He used a more political, religious language because that was the world he was born into. Nothing was natural around him. He lived in a very unnatural atmosphere. There was no way for him to communicate the magnanimity of the search in any other language other than a religious language. People could not understand. Religion had seeped into the hearts and minds of the people so much that he had no other choice but to use that language. which ended up being totally misunderstood. And it is being misunderstood even now. His words have become something totally different. But a little bit of understanding reveals that they're all talking about the same thing. The way, the path that leads to life. Many mystics have retreated because the sheer task, the sheer magnanimity of trying to awaken people, for many of them seemed futile. That is why, although we have many mystics, there are few teachers who decided to break through the mind of man to give him the glimpse of the truth. History is a testimony for how we have treated such individuals, what we have done with their teachings, and to their lives.